This is CNN Breaking News.
Let's get back to the breaking news. Donald Sterling now speaking out for the first time about the racist remarks that he made that got him banned for life from the NBA. CNN has learned new details now of what he's saying, what he wishes he had done differently, and what he plans to do next. We're back with Rachel Nichols. She's the host of CNN's Unguarded with Rachel Nichols. CNN anchor Don Lemon. Also joining us is Jeffrey Toobin on the phone. But Rachel, let me get to you. I just spoke with Jason Binn. He's the publisher of DuJour's magazine. He had an extensive phone conversation with Donald Sterling. There's Jason Binn. And he made it clear, Sterling made it clear to Jason that he has no inclination to sell the team. He's ready to face the NBA. Does that surprise you?
No, doesn't surprise me at all. We've said all along that Donald Sterling is not one to give up without a fight, that there are some legal questions here about whether the NBA can go ahead and force this sale, and that Donald Sterling's a litigious guy. He's a lawyer. You have to think that he is not going to go quietly into the good night. And look, this is a guy whose identity is so wrapped up in being the owner of his team. I think it's going to be tough for him to just walk away.
Jeffrey, he also said this, and it's on the DuJour.com website. He says, of the alleged girlfriend, Vista Viano, he says, quote, "I wish I had just paid her off." Well, what does that suggest, Jeffrey, to you?
It suggests that he has a PhD in making a bad situation worse. Instead of showing a little remorse, showing some understanding of how his comments were perceived, instead of apologizing, he's just acting like the jerk that he appeared to be on the tape, which is certainly not going to change the vote in the NBA, which at least initially was unanimously against him and will probably remain that way.
Yeah, because, Don, I'm also told by Jason Binn, who's the publisher of DuJour magazine, that Sterling never thought his comments would create the huge uproar that it has clearly developed out there. Give me your reaction to these comments we're now hearing for the first time.
Listen, I didn't do the interview, but if what Jason Binn says is correct, then I have a couple of names. First of all, he should have said, instead of "I should have paid her off," the first thing that should have come out of his mouth should have been, "I should not have said what I said. I am remorseful. I'm not a racist." He's not saying any of that. "I should have paid her off." It's ridiculous. Jeffrey is being extremely nice when he calls him a jerk. I have some names for him, okay? People at home, get ready. I think he is a narcissist. I think he is a privileged you-know-what. It starts with a B. I think he's obnoxious. I think he's a pompous ass. And I think he is an unrepentant racist. And so there are a lot of things that he could have said. And if he indeed said that, then he really doesn't get it. He has no self-awareness.
Yeah, I suspect
he's not going to apologize. He doesn't think he did anything wrong. He doesn't think he did anything wrong years ago when he was sued for housing discrimination. He doesn't think he did anything wrong when he discriminated against Elgin Baylor. He doesn't think he did anything wrong here. It is amazing, but it is consistent.
He told Jason Binn, Rachel, that he's ready to talk to the NBA and Barbara Walters, but that's it. He's ready to do an interview with Barbara Walters. He's ready to talk to the NBA, but he's not going to talk to others. What do you make of that?
I will see. I'm not sure I believe any of that, I got to tell you. I mean, we're going to see as this unfolds with Donald Sterling, whether he gets himself, as Jeffrey said, into deeper hot water. He's certainly not making any friends for himself. And really, I would have to think his only avenue now is the courts. The court of public opinion is against him, and this is probably going to make it worse. The court of the NBA internally against him, and this is probably going to make it worse. The only avenue he may have is the courts, and Jeffrey can speak to this theory that's been going around today that maybe he and his wife Shelley will, one or the other of them, would file for divorce as a way of getting the Clippers ownership tied up in a community property battle.
Yeah, how about he wants to speak to Magic Johnson instead of saying, "I want to speak to Barbara Walters"? How about that? How about I want to speak to everyone on the team personally? How about I want to speak to America directly?
He doesn't want to apologize, Don.
I understand that. And you said yesterday when Wolf and I said it would have been a good idea if he had done this, if he came out and said, "Listen, I'm going to spend the rest of my life." You said it's never going to happen, and you're absolutely right. But how about he shows some compassion and some couth, and at least that he's a human being instead of a jerk? He's not making anything anything better. He's making him. He might make himself richer if he gets rid of the team.
Jeffrey, we got a legal issue I want you to explain, because CNN spoke with Vista Viano's attorney before we learned of the comments of what Donald Sterling was telling Jason Binn. Here's what the attorney for Vista Viano, the alleged girlfriend, said. Vista Viano did not leak the recordings. We are narrowing down who might have leaked the tapes, but we do not want to divulge at this point. Apparently, Sterling believes that Vista Viano did leak those tapes. But go ahead. What's going on here from a legal perspective?
Well, it's an interesting sideshow about whether she taped them surreptitiously, whether she taped him illegally, whether she violated the law or violated Sterling's rights in some way that he might be able to sue her. None of that has anything to do with whether he will be able to hold on to the franchise. The NBA has the tapes. They were made public. He has acknowledged to Adam Silver that it's his voice on the tapes. So it is a complete legal and otherwise sideshow about whether she did something wrong. It has nothing to do with whether the NBA will remove the team from him.
Rachel, Vista Viano was asked to comment today on these reports that Donald Sterling, who's 80 years old, is suffering from prostate cancer. Here's what she said. Listen to this.
Pardon me. Did you know that Donald Sterling was fighting prostate cancer? I love your sandals.
Thank you.
Where are they from?
Banana Republic.
I love Banana Republic. They make nice things.
Thank you.
Why are you wearing the shield? Why are you holding a microphone?
I don't know. It's my job.
Well, then it's my job.
That was.
If only we could all get paid
so
for wearing a shield.
Oh,
my gosh.
Rachel.
Are you
Well,
kidding
where are your
me?
shoes from?
Respond to that. I don't know what to say.
Well, we've already discussed on this show her night shield versus her day shield, black versus pink, very important. I don't know when that was shot, during the day or night, or if she's making some sort of shield faux pas. But whether you're interviewing someone who looks like Darth Vader or not, it's a distraction from the central issue, right? The central issue is that a man who owns a professional sports team in one of the most popular leagues in our country not only said these things, not only is alleged to have done much worse things, but it now seems to be intent on continuing this campaign of insanity. And I'm very curious to see how the next few days unfold, because if he does fight this, if he does drag this out into something longer, we're going to get more of this. She was on roller skates the other day. Did you guys see that? That was the winner for me.
Did you hear? Rachel and Wolf, I had the real-life Olivia Pope on my show, Judy Smith, the fixer, and her advice was perfect. It was very simple for Vista Viano. Stop giving interviews. Stop talking. She is becoming just as hated as Donald Sterling by doing this. And why do we keep calling her his girlfriend? She was a sugar baby. He's a sugar daddy. That's what it is. This isn't girlfriend-boyfriend. This was a relationship where one person was getting something out of it, or both people were getting something out of it, and one was, anyway, I won't go on. You know where I'm going.
You want to explain that on national television, how that works?
All right, so let's try to move the story ahead a little bit. Now we've got, what Donald Sterling was telling Jason Binn. We got a whole bunch of little nuggets there suggesting that he is going to resist these efforts to make him give up the team. He's willing to talk to the NBA, but he has no inclination to sell the team. Jeffrey, first to you. Where's this story moving?
Well, I think the next key development is when the owners will actually vote to take the franchise away. There was a preliminary meeting a couple of days ago with 9 of the most important owners where they voted unanimously to support Adam Silver. The next step is for the league to take the formal action against Sterling. At that point, we may see what his legal defense is. I mean, it's one thing to spout off to an interviewer. The next really important will be when Sterling or his lawyer lays out what reason he has that the NBA lacks the authority to take it away. That will be a significant development, and we'll see if he can even muster an argument against the NBA. But that should be in the next few days.
And Don, I just want to point out, when I spoke to Jason Binn, who was on his way here to Washington, by the way, to attend the White House Correspondents Association dinner. When I spoke with him, he said that Sterling, in his phone conversation, had no idea that his comments would create this huge